Good day, it is I, Lord Pendlebury, and welcome to the fresh new look for Evolution Sim Racing. As you can tell from my voice there, I'm not fresh. In fact, when I asked the doctors about my state, they said I was lucky to make it through this week alive, and I asked them, what's the good news? That's right people, the terrible jokes are back. Anyway, if you would like to join Evolution Sim Racing, there's a lot of reasons over there, and then there's the join link below, so come join us. Hello then, and welcome to round 1 of the Evolution Sim Racing League. We are now in Series 3 of 2023, and we kick off in the FIA Formula 4s. We are just outside Sao Paulo in Brazil at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, aka Interlagos, one of the favourites amongst our roster of drivers, and just a fantastic track in general. Now let's head over and take a look at the grid. So we have Ricky Worrell on pole position for this first round of the season, with Dan Slattery alongside in second, just 500ths back. Jeff Sharp and Jamie Nicholson made up the second row of the grid, with Mark Pendlebury and Chris Hulse on the third row. Paul Nicholson was in 7th, with Josh Morris qualifying 8th. Steve Everson came in 9th, and Josh Levy, returning to the series, came home in 10th. Will Thomas, with his hastily built rig, is in 11th. Well, here we go then. Engine notes are starting to rise. And the green flag flies. Looks like a pretty cracking start there from Dan Slattery. Poor starts for Jamie Nicholson and Lord Pendlebury there. Chris Hulse looking to jump both of them. Can't quite get by Nicholson. It looks like Pendlebury's up the inside there, reclaiming that position. Things heating up for the lead as well. Slattery's to the inside of Worrell. Worrell is not taking this lying down. Jeff Sharp was thinking about sending it 3 wide in there, but thinks better of it at this stage in the season. So what, Worrell is not just going to tuck in here, shows his nose on the inside, and Slattery tries to hold on. Oh, gets a bit crossed up though, and has to concede that position. You'll have to forgive me, my state of health is still poor. I am desperately trying to not cough down the microphone, so my voice may not be as animated as it usually is. I'm not sure if that's what you come to listen to anyway, but if it is, my apologies. You can look a little bit further back here. Now Paul Nicholson chasing Josh Morris and Chris Hulse. Also looks like we've had Will Thomas go in for a tow. So taking a look back at Will Thomas's demise, the number 53 car, lovely livery he's got on there, but goes over the back of Steve Everson, I believe that was, and into, well, the pits he goes, being towed back there. So turns out I was speaking in a far too animated way previously, because I had a 10-minute coughing fit after recording the last clip. Oh, looks like Laura's a bit sideways there. So it's going to be an intriguing highlights package this week, because I'm going to have to speak in this kind of mellow and slow way, regardless of what's going on screen. And what's going on screen is Worrell and Slattery are side by side. Got Sharp, Nicholson and Pendlebury bringing up the rear. Worrell makes the pass. Oh, slight lock up there. Worrell went in deep. Nobody's heard that before. And Slattery, excellent move there. Why is it lagging a bit? So I'm not sure what's going on with my frame rate at the moment. Something for us to investigate. Oh, and Sharp's through as well. Worrell's momentum was poor there, but he immediately makes the move back. We can see the tail end of it there. Got Pendlebury in close attendance with Nicholson there. There is a fear here that the Slattery, now he's got the gap, will he just drive away from this group? So we join this leading group a little further on. You can see from the track map in the top right, they are slowly pulling away. Looks like Penderbury's got a bit of a run on Jamie Nicholson here. Nicholson's gone defensive. Looks like he's going to try and go all the way around the outside here, Penderbury. Has he got the job done? Oh, no. That's standard iRacing camera weather. How on earth has he got that wrong? He basically had the move completed around the outside there, Penderbury. I'll let you know this for free. I have thought long and hard about the perks of triple screens, an ultra-wide monitor, and even VR since that move that should have been a done deal around the outside, but because I wasn't sure where Mr. Nicholson was, I left too much room and killed all the momentum. Anyway, that's probably enough of my inner ponderings. Here we are, a lap later. Worrell has closed that gap back into Slattery. I need to stop speaking in such an animated way. Slattery has left the door open. Worrell to the inside. Slattery squeezing him. Oh, and Worrell's did he brush the barriers there? So we join this battle for first then. Just over a second covering these top five. Looks like we've got Worrell looking to make a move here on Mr. Slattery. Slattery has gone defensive. Worrell going to try and hang it around the outside. Is he forced out wide a little bit there? Sharp's getting a little interested as well. He dives across to the left. Side by side with Worrell now. Nicholson thinking about getting involved. Now only 6.5 tenths of a second now. Oh, sorry everybody. Covering this lot. What is that Evolution Sim Racing font down the side of Worrell's car? That's not an authorised font. Do you not know how long I've spent making logos? They are all over each other here. Positions somehow not changing too much though. Just Mr. Worrell that's got past Slattery on this lap. Looks like it's going to continue though. That's Penderbury alongside Nicholson in the background as well there. Stop nudging my hand with your wet nose whilst I'm trying to change camera angles, cat. Double side by sides there, Worrell and Slattery, Penderbury and Nicholson. Slattery has got back past. There you go, defensive yet again. This is cracking racing, even if the tone of voice suggests this is about as exciting as the Antiques Roadshow. Worrell has the inside line through there, but it will become the outside line for the double right-hander. Or just haven't memorised the turn names for this track, I'm afraid. Jeff Sharp, the meat in a double breaded sandwich, I suppose. Puff of smoke from somebody there, impossible to tell who. Oh, Sharp has a twitch. He's run out wide, scrapes the bottom of his car, and all of a sudden, we now have a slight change. There's now battle. No, oh god, I'm losing the plot here. God, don't do this when you're ill. Slasher is up the inside of Worrell. Get off the keyboard, cat. This is probably why I should have the camera on. Tell you what, who's the father and who's the daughter here? They've spent so much time side by side. You'd think they're trying to walk each other down the aisle. Laurel takes a look to the outside. But for the first time in a while, everybody is in line. So for the moment, I think I will stop so I can cough my guts up. Well, jumping on with Mr. Sharp here. Take a look at this quick replay of him getting it the fuck wrong. So, taking a look at the rest of the grid then, got Chris House maintaining 6th place. He's not a million miles off the back of that top 5. And he will surely pick up some pieces if it all goes wrong for them. You know what, something I learned about Chris House, despite the colour scheme and the number, not a McLaren or Lando Norris fan. I was not quite today years old when I learned that, but yeah. We then have Paul Nicholson just behind Will Thomas there, and it looks like we've got a change of position there. Steve Everson. Indeed he has. That's Josh Morris in the background. Steve Everson's moved up to 8th place. Josh Morris now in 9th. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened there. Well, here he is. The number 6 man. Everson behind him at this point, closing him down. And just takes it a little bit wide with too much speed. Loses the rear end. And down into 9th place he goes. Looks like he's got a decent enough gap over Josh Levy though in 10th. Back to the front then, and shit is getting real for these guys. The happy couple, Slattery and Worrell, side by side yet again. Nicholson getting involved here. Slithering his way up the inside. And I tell you what, this could be a great move for the lead. Pendlebury's now getting involved. Decides to back out of that though. Can't say I blame him. What? Into the infield they go, and Nicholson maybe looking for the move. Opts out, or maybe he was just a bit later on the brakes. Who knows? But all this battling, though, has very much allowed Jeff Sharp to catch up here. The 5 that became a 4 are now a 5 again. The take that story, if you will. Guess who is looking to go side by side again? That's right. It is Slattery and Worrell. It's a close old battle. It looks like we've got a close one for 7th place with Everson and Nicholson. We'll go and take a look at that in a second. Pendlebury's now up the inside of Nicholson there. Sharp follows Pendlebury. We're really looking at the wrong thing here, because it's Slattery followed by fucking everyone. Worrell's come out of it unscathed, but is Nicholson going to lose out to Pendlebury? He's got the inside line for the double right-hander, so he should retain the position. Well, firstly, let's take a quick look and see what went wrong for Nicholson. Oh, just loses it mid-corner. That's a bit unfortunate, but you can see on the timing there that Steve Everson was very close behind and indeed makes that move. Now Nicholson will be looking to take advantage of the slipstream that he has no doubt got. It's around 0.8 of a second behind you need to be to pick up that slipstream, and he is only 0.4 of a second behind Mr. Everson. That being said, he's not quite close enough by the end of the straight. And it's back to the lead as we go. Last couple of laps we are on. Going on to the last lap. Looking at Worrell and Slattery once more. Big lock up from Slattery there. Goes in a little bit deep. Oh, Worrell spins it. That's not what he wants to do. Cut back to the leaders. Slattery's lost a lot of momentum there. Penderbury looking to follow Nicholson up the inside into second place. He does so. Sharp now looking to get involved as well. So Penderbury surely going to be taking a look at Jamie Nicholson's rear end, and there it is. Looking to make it around the outside this time. And oh, there's contact there. Damage to Penderbury's side pod. He moves out wide to the right. Slattery now leading the charge. Well, so Sharp. To be honest, they all are. Look at them. Absolute gaggle of cars. Oh, there's absolute death and carnage everywhere. We're going to have to unpack that. Sharp drives off into the distance. He'll be rubbing his hands together. It's like we've also got Josh Morris in the pit lane. Not sure what's gone on there. Penderbury looks like he's got a fair amount of damage there as well. Yep, you can see that on the rear end. That front wing looks like it's seen better days. Jeff Sharp not doing too badly though. He's got away with it. Chris Hulse now up 2 positions from his starting position into 4th place now, with Ricky Worrell reclaiming a 3rd place on this final lap. But the only way feel like we're going to get a feel for what happened here is from the chopper. There was the contact between Nicholson and Pendlebury. 2 by 2 as they come down towards turn 4. And into slow motion we go for this. They all turn in. Looks all good at this stage. Nicholson then starts running out wide. There's a bit of contact between front left of Slattery. Slattery then just disappears through everyone apart from fucking Pendlebury. What's that shit all about? Into the barriers he goes. Pendlebury gets a ton of damage. Sharp gets away scot-free somehow. Well, here he is then, the cat that got the cream. Jeff Sharp takes that 1st place. Lord Pendlebury limps home for 2nd. Worrell gets a bit lucky by getting back onto the podium after his spin. There is Chris Hulse, only a whisker away from getting on the podium himself there. Jamie Nicholson leaping home, but Steve Everson crosses the line just ahead of him, as does Paul Nicholson. That's gonna hurt. Just managing to pip him to the post there. Dan Slattery limping his way home too. There it is. Jamie Nicholson just being beaten there by Everson and Paul Nicholson. That is a shame. Well then, let's take a look at the results. You can see there, Jeff Sharp taking an unexpected win there. I bet he wasn't expecting that was going to be how it panned out when he ran wide on the last turn. Lord Pendlebury came home in second place, just 2.8 seconds back. Ricky Worrell then claimed that third spot and the final spot on the podium. Chris Hulse came home fourth, 2 positions better than he started off, with Steve Everson in fifth. Paul Nicholson was sixth, and then the recovering Jamie Nicholson came home seventh. Dan Slattery also limping his way across the line in eighth. Josh Morris then came home in ninth, with Josh Levy rounding out the top 10. Will Thomas was unfortunately a lap down in the end there. Oh, and that is Paul Nicholson really demonstrating how solid those tyres are. But yes, we will take a very short break, and then we will be back for the highlights for race 2. I'm going to go down some water. Well, hello and welcome back to round 2 of the Evolution Sim Racing League. This time we have got a 45-minute a 45-minute feature race with a mandatory pit stop for you. As you can see, the clouds have rolled in, but 0% chance of rain, interestingly. Now, unfortunately, this new bit of software that I've invested in for all these slick transitions, unfortunately can't wrap its head around the grid as we've set it. So it's the return of everybody's favourite and not at all a drag to listen to. It's the Guess the Livery game. Now then, on pole position it looks like we have Will Thomas. I should have known that, number 53, lovely livery for him. Then in second place it is Josh Levy. He hasn't been in the series for a while. I was like, who on earth's that? But it's Josh Levy. Anyway, let's rattle through this. Josh Morris is then in third place with Dan Slattery alongside. Jamie Nicholson in his fancy coloured machine, I suppose. Jesus Christ. Paul Nicholson is then behind him. Then it's Steve Everson alongside Chris Hulse. Then the top 3 from the last race, Ricky Worrell, Lord Pendlebury, and the race 1 winner, Jeff Sharp. Now, they are off. Looks like Dan Slattery has made an absolutely fantastic start there. Splitting second and third. Around the outside he tries to go. Oh, there's contact between him and Josh Levy. There's more contact behind. Oh, there's a lot of cars there. Oh, and Sharp has been absolutely sent there. There are slow cars everywhere. If we ran safety cars in this series, almost certainly would have had one. Looks like there's a bit of excitement here with Chris Hulse up the inside of Steve Everson. Not sure if he got caught up in all of that as well. We will go back and take a look at all of that. Tell you what, Jamie Nicholson and Lord Pendlebury have had pretty decent starts. Not sure how they got through all of that unscathed, but they are all over the back of Josh Morris, who is currently holding on to second. You see there from the timing tower, Slattery and Sharp have both had to get towed back to the pit lanes. That is disappointing for them. They'd have been hoping to have good starts to the season. Bit of a lock-up from Morris there. Oh, and a bit of a twitch from Nicholson there. Pendlebury in very close attendance. On board with Pendlebury here and just pulling out of that slipstream a bit. Maybe looking to give Nicholson free rein to go after Morris. Oh, Nicholson locks up. Tyre on tyre contact. They both go round. Pendlebury's got nowhere to go. Hulse has got nowhere to go. I'm sure you can read about that kind of position in the Kama Sutra. Jesus Christ, what was that? Oh, Nicholson goes around again. And Hulse, he almost gets collected on the way through there. It has not been a very good start to this race. We're going to have to go back and take a look. But drama all over the place. That is now a lot of people in the pits. Josh Levy and Paul Nicholson both in the pit lane as well. So we go up to the blimp one of my personal favourites for analysis. You can see they're 3 wide here. Levy on the inside, and looks like he just takes a bit too much speed. Then Nicholson comes into the back of him, and that's not where it ends. Jeff Sharp looks like he's just going to sneak around the outside, then boom, destination fucked, as Aussie Man would say. Joined on board with Pendlebury here, as he seemed to get a pretty decent view of everything that went on. Got a fairly decent start there alongside Hulse. 2 cars to the outside as well. That's it all going wrong. Sneaks up the inside. And if we then cross to looking back from Chris Hulse's machine, there is Jeff Sharp. Death to him. Alright, now we switch to another one of the plethora of cameras available on Chris Hulse's car. A lap later, Nicholson locks up, turns Levy around. Sounds like someone's tripping over a drum kit there. Oh, there goes Nicholson around, and look just how close he gets there. And in amongst all of that, this is Ricky Worrell just before that second set of accidents, making a move on Mr. Everson. Going around the outside, but then you can see carnage up ahead. Ricky drives past, laughing his fucking arse off. And there's Everson in the background. You can see that chaos still on the hill. But that's Ricky Worrell into the top positions. He is in first place now with Everson in second. Right then, let's try and work out everything that has gone on there. So, I was wrong. Will Thomas is actually leading the race at this point with Ricky Worrell 5 seconds behind. Then Steve Everson is just 2.5 seconds behind Mr. Worrell. Chris Hulse is then in 4th place. He's a good 12 seconds back, with then Lord Pendlebury a further 10 seconds back. Oh, I know, it's interval, isn't it? So, no, Chris Hulse is 14 seconds back, and then Lord Pendlebury is 10 seconds back. And then Josh Morris is the final car on the lead lap. We then have Josh Levy, Paul Nicholson, Dan Slattery, Jeff Sharp, and Jamie Nicholson all caught up in those early lap dramas. And you can see here from the loss and gain statistic, oh, they're just actually talking horseshit. I don't understand what on earth's gone on there, because Jeff Sharp started in 11th, and apparently he's lost 7 positions by getting into 10th. Maybe it's a bit confused by the fact that he's a lap down. I'm sure he'll thank me for labouring that point. But, yeah, we can see that Ricky Worrell's done well, and I'm sure Steve Everson didn't start down. No, he didn't start down in 11th, so, yeah, well, what an absolute waste of time that was. Let's take a look at the timings and see if there's any decent battles out on track at the moment. Yep, that's confirmed, there aren't. Nobody is anywhere near anybody. The battle between Thomas and Worrell. Worrell looks to the inside, Thomas defends. And then pulls out well out to the right, looks to get the switch back. Thomas gets a bit crossed up there, and Worrell's going to have some nice momentum through there. Oh, we've got a damaged Paul Nicholson trying to stick out the way. So, just had this replay come in. Josh Morris cruising around in 6th as it stands, but just loses that rear end. Slattery goes through. There's Paul Nicholson, and there is Jeff Sharp as well. Paul Nicholson a lap down, but Jeff hasn't, so that's unfortunately 2 positions lost there for Mr. Morris. Bit more drama to report here then. Paul Nicholson going around that final corner. Spins it, does well to spin it around and keep out the way of the cars behind him. Now, I'll be keeping an eye on this battle with Slattery and Sharp. Sharp's slowly been closing the gap, but Slattery has now made an error. Onto the grass he went. Well, like a game of 2 halves, that truly was a race of 2 laps, as fuck all happened for the rest of it. So, let's take a look at the final standings. Ricky Worrell came home in first place with an extensive lead there of 34 seconds over Lord Pendlebury. Ricky Worrell about the only person that didn't get caught up in trouble during that race and has really made that pay off. We then have Steve Everson rounding out the podium in third place, also taking the AM win. Also, if you were wondering if you're AM or if you're pro, how you tie into these standings, well, the blue next to your name denotes pro, the red denotes AM. We then have Chris Hulse in fourth, taking second place in AM. Jeff Sharp and Dan Slattery recovered from their early lap dramas to claim 5th and 6th, with Will Thomas a heartbreaking disconnect just a few corners from the end demoted him down to 7th, otherwise he would have been on for 2nd place. That is some rotten luck for him. We then had Jamie Nicholson in 8th and Josh Levy in 9th. The other Josh, he came home in 10th for that final points position, and Paul Nicholson came home, well, he didn't come home in 11th, he retired 15 laps from the end. Now let's just take a quick look through at the Pro and AM results there. Worrell, Pendlebury, Sharp in the podium places, Slattery, Thomas and Nicholson in 4th, 5th and 6th. And if we take a look at the AM category, we've got Steve Everson in 1st there, Chris Hulse in 2nd, Josh Levy in 3rd, Josh Morris in 4th and Paul Nicholson in 5th. Now let's have a look at the overall point standings and see how that has shaken things out after those first 2 rounds. Now, not quite so easy to do the actual points totals for the AM and the Pro. I might be able to do that at a later stage, but for now we will stick with the overall points following the first 2 rounds of the season. So there we have it. Ricky Worrell is top of the pile, 48 points for him, a nice healthy 12-point lead over Lord Pendlebury in 2nd, with Jeff Sharp just a 1 point back in 3rd. We then have Steve Everson 10 points back, with Chris Hulse just a point behind him. Another 10-point gap to Dan Slattery and Jamie Nicholson. They are in 6th and 7th after the early exchanges. Paul Nicholson is then in 8th and Will Thomas is in 9th. Josh Morris rounds out the top 10, and then the final of the point scorers for this opening weekend is Josh Levy on 3 points. Those remaining people may not have taken part this week, however it's an absolute faff for me to remove them, so yeah, we eagerly anticipate your participation, guys. Right then, well, there we have it, a fantastic opening day of racing, or at least it was a fantastic race and 2 laps. And next week we are going to be at Talladega in the NASCAR trucks. So yeah, there's a lottery for you all to take part in. So yeah, for now, ciao.